just recently, I've experienced some amazing results by just cleaning the air induction system on these 15 to 25-year-old Mercedes Benzes. It was the M272 and the M273 I recently cleaned, and I could not believe it. One of the cars had so much more power, and the other one, the fuel economy increased amazing. So I have become a believer in doing this service. I just came up with this kit. It's a very simple kit, a DIY kit, something you can do yourself. And it's amazing that a lot of shops don't do this, because I see these cars at 100,000 plus miles. You can tell it's never been done. This is an M112 V6 2004 that we're going to do today. And the kit includes throttle body cleaner, mass airflow sensor cleaner, fuel injection cleaner that you add to the fuel tank. I've got an application kit here, which includes a mirror, because you're going to need a mirror when you do this job. You're going to remove that elbow at the back of the engine. So we're basically talking here about engines all the way from the late 90s up until about 2015, where you remove that intake elbow going down to the throttle body. You're going to clean the throttle body, and then you're going to clean the mass airflow sensor with the right products. So this is the air induction peak performance tuning kit. I know it's kind of a mouthful. So what I want to do is, this V6 has been running kind of weak. It doesn't have a lot of power, and it stumbles sometimes in reverse. And so there's, some issues. It runs basically okay. But before I do this operation, we're going to take this out on the road, and then after we do it, we're going to see if we can see any change in the performance of the engine. I don't know if we're going to be successful at this showing on film. A lot of it is about the feel of acceleration, but what I'm going to do is pull onto the road and floor it going slightly uphill. Because one of the problems I've felt with this car is a little bit sluggish on acceleration. It stumbles a little bit when you bring it off idle and you head out, particularly in reverse. But I'm clear here, so now with the transmission and drive, I'm going to floor it. That's okay. Certainly better than a 240D. Now, let's try one more. Now from a standstill, I'm going to accelerate down fairly level road here. Okay, floor it. See, it took a little while to come in. Almost like turbo lag, okay? Come on, speed up. All right. One more time. There's a little bit of delay before it kicked in. Look at that beautiful mountain up there. Oh, what a nice day in December. Now with the mirror, you can clearly see the throttle body, and you can see that this one is really gunked up. And like me, you'll say, well, I'm trying to touch it, but you don't touch it that way. You got to go backwards. But you can see all the gunk that is collected along the edges of this butterfly valve. That's what causes the problem. You don't get a complete seal, so it throws off your fuel mixture. And I think we're going to see a marked difference here. So now we're going to get out the cleaning supplies and go at it. This is one of the more filthy ones I've seen. This car is 20 years old, and it has 120,000 miles. So you can imagine if you had 150,000 miles and this had never been done. And I want to warn you, do not use blue shop towels when you're doing this. They will leave lint on the edges of that butterfly, and that can create a problem. You need lint-free cloths like I supply in the kit, and don't use a bristle that's real stiff, or you can scratch the sensitive aluminum down there. And if you have a flashlight like this is real handy, because while you're cleaning, you can have that aimed right down in there. But now, look at how clean that is. I mean, there's probably a couple spots there, but the important thing is the sealing edge around that butterfly. that it's real clean when it hits the housing of the throttle body. In real severe cases, you may need to remove the throttle body, and that's a job. But you can see the bolts, the Torx bolts, 4 of them holding the throttle body to the intake manifold. All right, now let's prep to get those elbows back on the engine. These seals never get replaced. But that's the old seal. Look at the new seal. Look very closely at the inside diameter. All right, we're going to drop this down into position. And the first thing we want to do is reattach that hose before we get this locked in place, because I can get my hand down here and get this to move a little bit. Okay, the hose is on, and then we're going to get the bottom one latched first by pushing in the bottom, and we're going to have to rotate this a little bit. See? Okay, the bottom's in. I can feel it because I'm trying to pull it back, and it's not coming back. So now, okay, there we go. All right, the bottom and the top are in. The way I can test this is try to pull it back. Just push it. You can push down on this top clip and make sure that's locked into position. So just to confirm, the hose is on and the 2 clips are locked in place. Now let's go clean that mass airflow sensor. You can see on those initial sprays, we did get quite a bit of crud and junk out of this sensor. Fighting these new seals, they're going to go in a little bit harder than the old ones came out. Pull forward, make sure both the arms lock in like this, and then just take the screwdriver like this and twist it in like that. See, it's got to be locked in. That lip's got to be locked in just like that. Then double check, pull back, make sure it's in on both sides. See, now just take this thing and wiggle it. Jerk it back, jerk it side to side. If it's not locked in, it'll pop loose by just jerking on it like this. Okay, final thing. And don't forget this one. You know, they say out of sight, out of mind, and that's the problem with this plug. It gets shoved down in here, and you can easily forget to plug this back in. Well, you'll figure it out pretty quick. Engine won't start. Okay, line this up, and it's just going to plug in like that until you hear it click. Okay, and then grab the plug. See if you can pull back on it. Okay, you're just going to eyeball everything here. Make sure that, you know, we know that we got the hose, we got all the clips, we got the electrical plug. And now we're ready to put the air cleaner back on. I should say something about these rubber hoses. These were replaced a couple years ago. But on a lot of these engines, these are going to be like cement. And you won't even be able to get that bottom one back on without replacing it. So we do have a kit of all these hoses. And I think once an engine gets to 80 to 100,000 miles, all these breather hoses on top of these M112 and M113 engines should be replaced. A couple comments about replacing this engine cover. You know, it does contain the air filters. Now, I replaced these a couple years ago too. You can look in here to see how dirty they are, but if you don't know the history, you need to take this off and really look at those air filters. The other thing is this rear seal. This rear seal should also be replaced after 80 to 100,000 miles. So we're ready to set this back on, and I'm going to lay it in position like this. This is critical. You want to make sure that you get this lined up. What I like to do is put my hand back here and make sure that I'm centered on top of that mass airflow sensor. Okay, I'm on. Okay, now I'm just going to lift up on it and feel back here. Yeah, it's seated down. Lift up on this, it's tight. Now I can bring the front piece in. And you notice the clips, these clips here go in, and these clips have to be lifted up and pushed down. They get broken off because people don't know this. But you want to start by bending this a little bit. Get these two clips pushed in towards the center, and then come back and pop these in. Okay, I know that looked like a lot of work, but it's not as bad as you think, particularly after you've done it once. And now we'll get these hoses hooked back up, and we're going to hit the road again. Okay, I'm hoping for a huge change. Let's see, I'm going to go uphill again under power. Okay, here we go. I'm going to floor it. Wow! Can you believe it? Wow, that's really something for a 240. Okay, let's try this again. Man, this is exciting. I haven't had this much fun driving this wagon for years. Okay, dead stop. Let's hit it. Wow, look at that, no lag. Sorry for giggling, but this is an amazing difference. That's how smooth that engine is running. All right, one more time from a rolling start. Look at that thing kick into gear. If you aren't a believer, you should be now.